Welcome to part 3, my final part of this teaching on how the imminent rapture is not a biblical concept. Part 1 I spoke about Peter. Part 2 was about Paul. And please watch those if you haven't watched those to understand this part 3. Part 3 is the quickest one and it's pretty simple. Because part 2 and 1 I spoke about how all the books in the New Testament could not have mentioned anything regarding a rapture. Why? Because Peter was still alive when those books were written. So anything written while Peter was alive could not have said anything about Christ coming at any moment, because it will contradict what Christ said to Peter when he said he was going to die. Okay? He said that to Peter, so that had to come to fulfillment and be a prophecy that's going to be fulfilled. The only book that's left is the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation was written after Peter's death. So is it possible that in the book of Revelation, is it possible that Christ can come at any moment? Well, we know the book of Revelation is all symbols, okay? And there's one key verse in that whole book that'll debunk the whole pre-imminent rapture. Yes, that book is, wow, Christ can come at any, it just shows that Christ can come and he's going to come with a sword, and we want that to happen. But Jesus Christ says something to John, and according to history, this book was written in about 96 AD. So John was pretty old. In chapter 10 and verse 11 of the book of Revelation, Jesus Christ tells John, hey, don't worry. You're going to have to testify about me to many other nations and tongues and peoples. So, with that being said, anything that John wrote, he could not have mentioned in there, Christ can come at any moment, if he had not already went and testified to other nations and tongues and people. I'm sure he probably wrote something about that. We don't have anything about it, but there is no way Christ can come while he wrote the book of Revelation, because he had to go preach to other nations and tongues. If Christ would have came before he did that, Christ would have he would have been a false prophet. Okay? So Christ knew. Why? Because he knows the beginning from the end. He knew he was going to go and speak before other nations and tongues. He wasn't going to say, oh, never mind, I changed my mind, I'm going to come whisk you away. No. And history has it that John also died. But he had to go first to speak to the nations. And he spoke to the nations possibly, I believe, after the book of Revelation was written, or at least after he was given the vision. So anything in the vision couldn't have said, Christ can come right now. Nope, because he still had to go speak to other nations in tongues and peoples. So brothers, this is the conclusion of part 3. I told you it will be short. I really hope it was a semi-blessing. It was a blessing for you. I hope you have a different perception or a different view. Maybe you're like, wow, I've never seen it that way. Please subscribe to my channel and like my videos, and stay tuned to other videos. I put a different type of videos out there, and I hope that some of you get educated with those videos, and God bless you. And don't ever forget that what Jesus Christ did is enough.